It's been a busy Monday, fresh off the back of some comments that Scott made after the game Saturday. What's your version of events?
My take of events. Scott has been said something that he believed was the case, and I have no problem with that in the slightest. I want my players to express themselves and say how they feel, and if he feels that a couple of players have not pulled their weight, then so be it. But I would like to stress that it was a training ground debate, if you like. We'd had a good week. We trained Wednesday well, Thursday really well. On Friday we just did a light warm up, and I'll just run through the scenario really. Warm up, bit of ball work, and I just wanted to put an 11v11 on the first team from that we picked to play, and then you set the boys not involved up as this week it was Rochdale, how we thought they would play, how we thought they would try and cause us problems. And as is always the case, and it's been, from when I was a young pro at Birmingham, we used to regularly beat the first team on a Friday, on a Thursday, whenever it was. I just asked for 15 minutes of concentration where I asked them just to sort themselves out, but they knew how I wanted to play, and I wanted to see if they dealt with things particularly well. And as happens, the ones not playing took the lead, and just the general display, but some of the stuff that the first team were not doing as we do on a Saturday, and as we've done at Mansfield very well and got 3 excellent points, as we've done a lot of times away from home this season. The concentration and the effort wasn't as perhaps it should have been, and that's disappointing because you want them to train properly at every opportunity to learn and I always say good habits. We cannot just turn it on like a tap. It's been proven all season that we've been able to do that, and we're not good enough in League 2. But if you get into your good habits, just for 10-15 minutes, just a little liveliness, and listen, the majority of the time on Friday, it's not been a worry in the slightest. After about 8 minutes, I got them in as a group and just asked why certain individuals had done certain things, why as a team we hadn't done what we talked about, we set up to do, how we try and play. And one of the players commented that 1 or 2 weren't trying, and I don't know if that was completely the case. And I asked 1 or 2. I probably asked 7 or 8, and surprised. I'm not sure if they understood what I was asking, or if they quite understood what I was asking, and I got a couple of maybe you could work harder or no, and I didn't. So I wasn't happy, of course, but it's Friday. I've picked the team, and I said, well, you've got 8 minutes to put it right, to make sure we get into the habits of doing it properly. We haven't got the biggest squad in the world, so you can't just dismiss people. And I just tried to make them get the best out of each other. And they actually got an equaliser, got a winner in the next 8 minutes. Their attitude did change, and that was the end of it for me, really. It's been a frustrating season for everybody. And when I commented a couple of weeks ago, I think it was after the Southend game, that I couldn't wait for the season to finish. I didn't mean I didn't want to be here. I didn't mean, but it's just been a frustrating one, and you're almost waiting for that new page, that new chapter, that new everything, and training hasn't become complacent. If you watched us Wednesday and Thursday, it was excellent, really good, real decent tempo. But I've also been on both sides of scenarios where, as a player, I've been in the team, and relaxed, and probably not wanted to. You know, you're playing, you know your jobs, but you don't want to be full pelt round an 11v11 pitch, wasting energy, and I get a little bit of that. That said, I don't think we should, you know, I think, you know, I'm asking for a short 10 minutes, 15 minutes spell where just I want people to do it right, because I think, like I say, the habits are good, but I've also been on the other team where, you know, you're one of the ones not involved, and your job is to make it as uncomfortable, as testing, as hard for the team that has been picked to say to the manager, I should be playing. But that happens, and I think it was just a case of that. I think it's been. We're not dismissing it as a club, and I'm certainly not dismissing it as the manager. I will speak to the two boys. Scotty's obviously taken a bit of umbrage with it, so I've spoken to Scotty at length today and a little bit last night, and I think he didn't expect it to get blown up. I think if you look at him on the camera, I sort of listened. I watched it yesterday. I read his words last night, and then I watched the video shoot of it, and I thought he looked uncomfortable. I thought he just said he was just trying to say that, you know, what could Neil and I do when people are doing that? And that's the thing with players. Sometimes they take it personally, and you can't. You've got to try and get the best out of them. And like he said, one of those players that he mentioned was probably our best player on Saturday. So there's no right and wrong, but believe me, it was a one-off incident on the training ground. We've got a group that they do work hard. We do ask of them, and on the training ground, and they're not short of going through the paces and putting it in. I think it's just a bit of frustration on Scotty's part. Especially with, on the back of them winning the game to get them promotion. I think we all felt we didn't want to be part of that, in terms of, we wanted to, like people having parties on your back. But I'll deal with it, but there was certainly, I'm not going to condemn the lack of effort. Not condemn. What was I'm looking for? I'm not going to say that this group haven't put the effort in. I think it was just a one-off, and Scotty said what he felt. But so when you're a manager and you're a little bit more sort of step back, and you know the dynamics of a first team and of a team who are trying to say, well, I should be in that team. Listen, it happens, and it can happen to everybody. It certainly happened. When I was a player here under Steve Cottrell, I used to say that I was. And a few others I was one of the not the best trainers on a Friday, particularly when you want to look after yourself, you want to put every effort into your Saturday. You've done the hard bit, you've been picked. Now it's a case of going and putting that in. I actually felt I was, but that's it sometimes. Players they see things in different ways. But I say there wasn't a big backlash in the dressing room. People know Scotty have said it, and people are putting two and two together and coming up with 5s and 7s and whatever else. And we'll deal with it. I assure you that training will be good this week, and on Saturday every player will be putting every ounce of effort they have in. I don't think it's lack of effort that we've been found wanting this season. I think it's just been lack of know-how at times, lack of willingness to defend certain periods of the games better than we have done.